Most people think their money problems will disappear the moment they start earning more. Get a raise, problem solved. Land a better job, problem solved. But here's what nobody tells you. Income alone has never made anyone wealthy, and I can prove it. The average American household earns more today than at any point in history. Adjusted for inflation, wages are higher than they were 30 years ago. And yet, 78% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern, and it has a name. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact mechanisms that drain wealth silently. Not the obvious stuff like bad spending habits or debt, but the invisible traps that even high earners fall into without ever realizing it. By the end, you'll know exactly which ones are hitting you right now, and more importantly, what to do about each one. My name is Marcus. Let's get into it. Most people think their money problems will disappear the moment they start earning more. Get a raise, problem solved. Land a better job, problem solved. But here's what nobody tells you. Income alone has never made anyone wealthy, and I can prove it. Let's start with the most dangerous lie in personal finance, the idea that earning more automatically means keeping more. Here's a number that should stop you in your tracks. A study by the National Endowment for Financial Education found that a significant percentage of lottery winners, people who received sudden windfalls of hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, ended up broke within 5 years. Not struggling, not tight, broke, zero. Now think about what that actually means. These people didn't have an income problem. They had a relationship with money problem. And no amount of cash hitting their bank account was going to fix that, because the problem was never the amount, it was the behavior. The same thing plays out every single day for regular working people, just on a slower timeline. Someone earns $40,000 a year and feels broke. They work hard, get promoted, now they're earning $65,000 a year. For about 3 months, things feel better. Then somehow, mysteriously, they feel broke again. So they push harder, climb higher, and now they're pulling $90,000 a year, and they still feel broke. This is what economists call the hedonic treadmill. As your income rises, your expectations, your lifestyle, and your spending rise right alongside it. The treadmill keeps moving, but you never actually get anywhere. You run faster and faster and end up in the exact same place. Here's the data that makes this impossible to ignore. The top 20% of income earners in America, people making above $130,000 per year, save an average of 23% of their income. That sounds great, but look at the next tier down. People earning $70,000, $80,000, even $90,000 per year, well within what most people would consider a comfortable income, save practically nothing. In many cases, they're actually running a deficit, spending more than they bring home on credit. Same country, same economy, same basic expenses. Dramatically different outcomes. And the difference has almost nothing to do with income. So if income isn't the answer, what is? The answer is the gap. The gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap, and only that gap, is where wealth is built. Everything else is noise. The person earning $50,000 who lives on $38,000 is building wealth. The person earning $95,000 who lives on $97,000 is going backward. And the brutal truth is that most people, as their income grows, allow their lifestyle to grow at the same rate or faster, which means the gap never widens. And a gap that never widens means wealth that never grows. Now, let's give the problem its proper name: lifestyle inflation. And let's be specific about how it actually works, because understanding the mechanism is the only way to stop it. Every time your income increases, you face a choice. You can let your lifestyle expand to match the new income, or you can keep your lifestyle relatively stable and let the difference compound in your favor. Almost every person, without a deliberate plan, chooses the first option, not out of greed or recklessness, but simply because it feels natural. You earn more, you feel like you can afford more, so you buy more. It makes complete psychological sense, and it is financially devastating. Here's what lifestyle inflation looks like in practice. You get a $500 per month raise. That's $6,000 per year before taxes, a real, meaningful increase. Within 6 months, you've upgraded to a nicer apartment. Your car payment is a little higher, you're eating out more, you've added a few subscriptions. None of these decisions felt irresponsible in the moment. Each one felt justified, but collectively, they've consumed the entire raise and then some. The $500 per month is gone before it ever had a chance to work for you. Now multiply that by every raise you receive across a 30-year career, every bonus, every promotion, every side income that picked up momentum. If lifestyle inflation consumes each increase as fast as it arrives, your net worth at the end of those 30 years looks almost identical to someone who earned far less, because it was never about the income. There's a rule that completely reframes how to handle this. Every time your income increases, automatically direct at least 50% of the after-tax increase towards savings or investments before you change a single spending habit. Live a little better on the remaining 50%. Enjoy the win, you earned it, but protect at least half of every income gain from lifestyle expansion. Do this consistently across your working years, and the compounding effect becomes almost unimaginable. The person who earns $60,000 and saves $9,000 starting at age 25 will retire dramatically more than the person who earns $120,000 and saves $8,000 starting at age 35. Lower income, earlier start, disciplined gap, completely different outcome. That's not theory, that's math, and math doesn't care about your income level. Now, let's talk about the mechanism that keeps lifestyle inflation permanently in place even when people try to fight back. Debt. Specifically, the kind of debt that reloads itself every time you make progress. The typical household carries over $9,000 in credit card debt at an average interest rate somewhere between 20 and 24%. That means every single year, roughly $1,800 to $2,200 of that household's money disappears in pure interest, not paying down principal, not buying anything new, just interest, just the cost of existing in debt. But here's the part that makes this truly vicious. The average American has less than $1,000 in liquid emergency savings, which means any unexpected expense, a car repair, a medical bill, a broken appliance, a job gap, goes straight onto the credit card. Every time something goes wrong, the balance reloads. You pay $400 off the card this month. Next month, the transmission goes on your car. Back goes $600. You're now $200 deeper than when you started. The debt isn't shrinking. It's staying exactly where it is, collecting interest the entire time, like a subscription you never signed up for. This is the debt spiral. And the reason most people can't escape it isn't lack of effort. It's the absence of a buffer. Without an emergency fund, every financial setback becomes a debt event, and every debt event makes the next setback more expensive because you're paying 20% interest on top of it. The way out has 2 steps, and they have to happen in this exact order. First, before you pay down any debt aggressively, before you invest a single dollar, build a $1,000 emergency buffer. Just $1,000. It won't cover every emergency, but it will prevent most small emergencies from becoming credit card events. It breaks the reload cycle. Second, once that buffer exists, attack the debt with complete focus. Use the avalanche method. Highest interest rate first if you want the mathematically optimal approach. Use the snowball method. Smallest balance first if you need psychological momentum to stay motivated. Both work. The one you'll actually stick to is the right one for you. But do not invest for long-term growth while carrying 20% interest rate debt. There is no investment strategy on earth that reliably returns 20% annually. Paying off that debt is the highest guaranteed return available to you. And once the debt is gone, that $1,800 per year in interest payments, that's yours every year. That's the money that starts building the life you were trying to build the whole time. Only about 58% of Americans own any stocks at all, directly or through retirement accounts. That means roughly 4 in 10 people are completely disconnected from the primary wealth-building engine of the modern economy. And the consequences of that disconnect are staggering. Two people, both 25 years old, both earning exactly the same income. Person A invests $300 per month into a low-cost index fund starting today. Person B keeps that same $300 per month in a standard savings account, earning 0.5% interest. Same discipline, same monthly commitment, same starting point. At age 65, Person A has approximately $1.6 million. Person B has approximately $175,000. That gap, $1.4 million, was not created by talent, by luck, by privilege, or by income. It was created entirely by where the money went. $1 went to work and compounded for decades. The other dollar sat still and slowly lost value to inflation. This is why the investment gap is the single most consequential financial decision most people never consciously make. They don't decide not to invest, they just never start. They mean to figure it out eventually. They're waiting until they understand it better. They're not sure they have enough to make it worth it, and eventually becomes never. Here's what you actually need to know to start. You need a tax advantage to count. If your employer offers a 401k with any kind of match, that match is the best guaranteed return you will ever receive, and you should contribute at least enough to capture all of it before doing anything else. If no employer plan exists, open a Roth IRA. Contribute to it automatically on payday. Put the money into a low-cost index fund, something that tracks the entire market, and then do nothing. Don't check it every day. Don't react when markets drop. Don't try to time anything. Just let it compound. That is the entire investment strategy that will put you ahead of 42% of Americans who own nothing in the market. It's not glamorous. It won't make for an exciting story at dinner, but in 30 years, the math will speak for itself. Everything we've talked about so far has a cost that goes far beyond money, and almost nobody talks about it honestly. The cost is time. Specifically, the years of your life you spend working not because you want to, but because your financial situation gives you no other choice. Financial freedom doesn't necessarily mean stopping work. It means having the option. It means choosing to work because the work is meaningful, not because the mortgage requires it. It means being able to say no to a toxic job, a bad boss, a role that's grinding you down, and actually mean it. It means having leverage in your own life. The average American who ends up with minimal retirement savings doesn't have that leverage. They have a financial situation that has been slowly built, often unintentionally, through years of lifestyle inflation, accumulated debt, and money left uninvested. And because of that situation, they have to keep showing up, not by choice, but by necessity. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that the average American watches over 3 hours of television per day. That's over 1,000 hours per year. I'm not here to tell anyone how to spend their evenings, but 1,000 hours per year is a significant resource. If even a fraction of that time were redirected toward financial literacy, building a side income, or simply learning how investing works, the trajectory of that person's financial life changes, not overnight, but over a decade, unrecognizably. You cannot borrow more time. You cannot invest your way into having more of it. Every year you delay saving is a year of compound interest you can never recover. Every year of carrying high-interest debt is a year of wealth that got transferred from your future to someone else's balance sheet. The only question is how you use what you have right now. So let's make this real. Not principles, not motivation, an actual ordered sequence of what to do and what to do first. Step 1. Know your actual numbers, not an estimate. Pull your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements and categorize every single expense. Most people discover they're spending $200 to $400 more per month in certain categories than they thought. You cannot fix what you haven't measured. Step 2. Identify your gap. Subtract your monthly spending from your take-home pay. If that gap is less than 15% of your income, that is your problem, not your income. Your gap. Closing it means cutting expenses, increasing income, or both. Step 3. Build the $1,000 buffer first, before aggressive debt payoff, before investing.
$1,000 sitting in a savings account breaks the debt reload cycle. It's your circuit breaker. Step 4, eliminate high-interest debt. Anything above 8 to 10% interest. Attack it with complete focus. This is the highest guaranteed return available to you right now. Step 5, automate your investing. Set up automatic contributions to your retirement account on payday before the money ever hits your checking account. Pay yourself first, automatically, and live on what remains. Remove the willpower requirement entirely. Willpower is finite. Automation is permanent. Step 6, apply the 50% rule to every future raise. Every time your income increases, direct at least half of the after-tax gain towards savings or investments before changing a single lifestyle habit. Step 7, think in decades. The decisions that feel small right now compound across years into outcomes that look almost impossible from a distance. They are not impossible. They are math. Patient, boring, relentless math. Here's the bottom line from everything we covered today. Staying broke has almost nothing to do with how much you earn. It has everything to do with the gap between what you earn and what you keep, the debt that reloads itself every time you try to get ahead, the investments you never start because you're waiting for the right moment, and the slow creep of lifestyle expansion that quietly consumes every raise you've ever received. These are not character flaws, they are patterns, and patterns can be broken, but only once you can see them clearly. The person who earns $50,000 and builds a widening gap, kills their debt, and invests consistently will retire with more dignity, more freedom, and more options than the person who earns $150,000 and lets lifestyle inflation, debt, and inaction consume everything. That is not an opinion. That is what the data shows, year after year, household after household. You now have the framework to be different. The question is whether you use it. My name is Marcus. If this broke something open for you, hit the like button and subscribe because this is exactly the kind of content we build here. Drop a comment telling me which of these traps hit closest to home. I read every single one. The gap is where wealth lives. Go build yours.